What if, all this time, we have been mistaken about one of the most fundamental truths of concerts, that tickets are no longer the only key to standing before Jungkook, watching his eyes scan an empty stage, hearing his voice before the lights come on, and capturing moments that were never supposed to be accessible to those who were not chosen? This question suddenly feels unsettling, even provocative, when BTS officially announced a lottery that not only offers a soundcheck experience but also indirectly shakes an unwritten foundation of the global concert world. That anyone, even without a main concert ticket, can be extremely close to Jungkook. The announcement appeared without dramatic flair, without lengthy preamble, just an official post from the X account at BTS_official that initially looked like an ordinary promotion. Yet behind the cute illustrative poster and friendly wording lay a detail that quickly triggered a brief hush before erupting into collective uproar. 2,000 people would be selected via lottery to attend the soundcheck of BTS's world tour titled ARIRANG at Tokyo Dome. Up to that point, everything sounded normal. Then one small sentence changed everything. Participants do not need to have a main concert ticket, and during the soundcheck, taking photos and videos is permitted. In the world of K-pop, especially within the BTS ecosystem, a soundcheck is not merely a technical rehearsal. It is a semi-sacred space, a liminal zone between privacy and public performance. It is where the members, especially Jungkook, often described as BTS's emotional center of gravity, reveal versions of themselves not fully polished for the main stage. He sings in tones not yet completely locked in, jokes with the crew, gazes at empty seats that will soon be filled by tens of thousands of eyes. And now, access to that space is being opened to those who do not even hold a concert ticket. The question becomes unavoidable: why? This lottery is directly tied to BTS's fifth album, ARIRANG, officially released and open for pre-order starting January 16, 2026, through the BTS Weverse shop and Universal Music Store. Each album purchase grants a chance to enter the soundcheck lottery, which will take place on April 17th and 18th, 2026, at Tokyo Dome. From an academic standpoint, this can be read as an experiential reward-based marketing strategy, a technique that binds product consumption to high-value emotional experiences. But for ARMY, especially those who have spent years studying the patterns of Big Hit and HYB, that explanation feels far too simple. Because if this were merely about album promotion, why relax the most sacred rules of concerts? Why place Jungkook, a figure with nearly unmatched global appeal, in a situation where his presence can be freely recorded by people who did not even purchase a main concert ticket? Within hours of the announcement, social media timelines filled with questions, not all of them neutral. Some called it the best gift for Japanese ARMY. Others openly questioned the fairness of the system for international fans who struggle to buy expensive tickets, compete with bots, and still end up failing. Yet beneath the envy and disappointment, another, darker layer began to surface. Conspiracy theories emerged, not as empty accusations, but as chains of speculation assembled from familiar patterns. Some fans recalled how Jungkook has often been positioned as the primary face during major transitional phases of BTS. From the era of solo activities to the group's full return, the spotlight has almost always converged on him. So when the ARIRANG lottery places Jungkook as the main magnet, though never explicitly stated, many began to ask, is this really about BTS, or about retesting Jungkook's power as the central draw? The fact that the announcement emphasized the first lottery deadline of February 1st seemed to add a deliberately engineered sense of emotional urgency. This was not merely an invitation, but a subtle pressure compelling fans to act quickly, purchase albums, and entrust their hopes to probability. From a mass communication perspective, this is highly effective framing. A rare opportunity, limited time, and an invaluable reward. But in the eyes of critics, this framing also opens space for speculation. Is the lottery system truly random? Or are there other variables left undisclosed? The album ARIRANG itself has long been shrouded in symbolic aura since its title was revealed. Borrowed from a Korean folk song rich with historical meaning about separation, journeys, and identity, the album is positioned as a milestone marking BTS's return to the global stage after a long hiatus. The soundcheck at Tokyo Dome, one of Asia's most prestigious venues, is hardly a coincidental choice. Japan has always been a strategic market for BTS, and Jungkook possesses an extraordinarily strong fan base there. Thus, when Japanese ARMY are granted exclusive access that even surpasses that of concert ticket holders, it is only natural for global fans to feel that the narrative has become unbalanced. In Indonesia, reactions were no less emotional. Social media overflowed with expressions of envy, hope, and anger thinly veiled as jokes. But among those comments emerged sharper analyses. Some fans questioned the long-term implications of this policy. If soundchecks can be attended without tickets, if photos and videos are allowed, will this alter the value of exclusivity in future BTS concerts? And more broadly, is this a sign that Jungkook, consciously or not, is being tested as a new axis of direct interaction with fans? These questions remain unanswered. The official BTS Japan website, bts-official.jp, lists only technical details without addressing the growing controversy. Yet that very silence is where the narrative tension lies. Institutional silence often becomes fertile ground for speculation, and when the subject of that speculation is Jungkook, a figure whose every move is analyzed with near-academic precision by millions of fans, the ARIRANG soundcheck lottery can no longer be viewed as a mere promotional event. It has become a symbol of changing ways BTS interacts with fans, a symbol of shifting values of access and exclusivity, and perhaps, if the circulating theories are not entirely wrong, a symbol of a large-scale experiment whose risks we do not yet fully understand. Because if today a ticket is no longer required to see Jungkook up close, then what exactly will change tomorrow? If on the first day the ARIRANG soundcheck lottery was announced, most public reactions were still wrapped in euphoria and disbelief, the days that followed revealed an almost inevitable shift in atmosphere. The euphoria slowly faded, replaced by an emotion far more dangerous to the entertainment industry: collective suspicion. Questions that were initially posed in a joking tone began to transform into serious analysis. Is this system really as simple as it appears? Or is an old pattern resurfacing, hidden behind the word lottery, which sounds neutral and fair? ARMY is not an ordinary fan community. For more than a decade, they have been trained to read strategies, recognize codes, and remember small details that often escape the general public's attention. In this context, the ARIRANG soundcheck lottery does not stand alone. It was immediately compared to the long history of how BTS has managed access, exclusivity, and distance between artists and fans. And at this point, Jungkook's name surfaced again, not merely as an individual, but as a symbol of concentrated attention that is difficult to ignore. Historically, soundchecks have always been among the most tightly guarded spaces. Even on previous tours, access to soundchecks almost always required ownership of a main concert ticket, often bundled with high-value VIP packages. Restrictions on photography were typically enforced strictly, in order to preserve the sense that what happened before the concert was part of an internal process, not public consumption. So when ARIRANG instead opens this space, removes the ticket requirement, and even allows visual documentation, many ARMY began to ask whether long-standing rules were being deliberately broken for a larger purpose. Across fan forums, discussions grew increasingly specific. Some began calculating probabilities, trying to understand how 2,000 people could be selected from millions of album buyers. Others examined the timing of the announcement, which felt almost too precise, close enough to the album release to drive sales, yet far enough from the concert dates to build prolonged anticipation. In communication analysis, this is known as a delayed gratification loop, a technique designed to sustain audience engagement over a longer period. But for ARMY already familiar with big hit strategies, the technique felt familiar, perhaps too familiar. What made the situation even more sensitive was the fact that the emotional focus of the discussion almost always returned to Jungkook. Although the lottery officially involved BTS as a group, public conversations, both in Japan and internationally, revealed a clear tendency. Jungkook's shadow dominated the collective imagination. This was not without reason. Jungkook is known as the member who most spontaneously interacts, whose expressions often go viral even in short video clips. Giving him an audience that can record without restriction, even within the context of a soundcheck, means opening the possibility of image circulation that cannot be fully controlled. This is where conspiracy theories began to find their footing. Some fans suspected that this lottery was a test, not of the ticketing system, but of Jungkook's visual and emotional impact in a pre-concert setting. Would his presence in a semi-private space still generate waves of virality, as powerful as those created by a main-stage performance? Would organic fan-recorded content produce a more authentic promotional effect than official materials? These questions may sound speculative, but in the modern entertainment industry, such experiments are hardly uncommon. Tensions rose further when comparisons with international fans became unavoidable. ARMY outside Japan, including those in Indonesia, began to question why this kind of exclusive access was occurring in only one region. Japan is indeed a crucial market, but BTS is a global phenomenon. Does this mean the ARIRANG promotional strategy is deliberately centered on a single country? Or was Japan chosen as a kind of social laboratory, a place where fan reactions could be observed before similar policies are implemented elsewhere? The emotions that surfaced were layered. There was honest envy, restrained anger, and also a fear that was rarely expressed openly. The fear that the value of effort within the fandom is beginning to erode. Until now, securing a BTS concert ticket has been seen as a reflection of dedication, patience, and often financial sacrifice. When someone without a ticket could potentially stand closer to Jungkook than holders of expensive seats in the upper tiers, the narrative of fairness within the fandom begins to crack. Yet what is most striking is not the anger itself, but the institutional silence that accompanies it. To date, there has been no additional clarification from BTS or management regarding the growing controversy. No detailed explanation of the lottery mechanism, no response to accusations of unequal access. In crisis communication studies, such silence is often interpreted as a waiting strategy, allowing discourse to unfold until it reaches saturation. But for some ARMY, this silence only reinforces suspicion that something is being deliberately left unsaid. Jungkook himself has remained silent. No comments, no direct signals, no personal posts addressing the situation. Yet his silence, rather than calming the atmosphere, has added another layer of interpretation. In BTS fandom culture, silence is often read as a message in itself. And when that silence occurs amid a controversy that places Jungkook at its center, the collective imagination works relentlessly. Is the ARIRANG lottery merely an act of generosity that has been misunderstood? Or is it part of a long-term strategy that is gradually reshaping how BTS defines access and closeness? At this point, there are no definitive answers. What exists are patterns that are beginning to emerge, reactions that are growing increasingly emotional, and a realization slowly forming in the minds of fans that what is happening may not be just about a single soundcheck, a single album, or a single tour. It may be about the future of the relationship between BTS, Jungkook, and millions of ARMY around the world. And if these suspicions are true, then what will be revealed on the Tokyo Dome stage later may be far greater than a mere rehearsal. Before a concert. In the end, all speculation, emotion, and theory will converge on one concrete point. Tokyo Dome, April 2026. It is there that 2,000 selected individuals will stand in a space long regarded as not for everyone. It is there that Jungkook will step onto the stage before the concert begins. Not in front of tens of thousands of ticket holders, but before a small group of individuals who may never have endured the harsh realities of the BTS ticket hunting system. And it is precisely there that the irony lies, making the ARIRANG lottery feel far greater than a mere promotional event. For the entertainment industry, what BTS is doing through this soundcheck lottery can be read as a radical experiment. The line between exclusive access and open access is beginning to blur. The soundcheck, once a private space, is now turning into potential content that can spread freely across the world within minutes. Jungkook, with his visual and emotional pull, stands at the very center of this experiment. Every expression, every not yet perfect note, every small interaction with crew members or fellow members carries the potential to become a new narrative that lives beyond official control. On the other hand, for ARMY, this experiment raises questions that are far more personal. If closeness to Jungkook can now be obtained without a concert ticket, then what is the meaning of the sacrifices they have made all this time? Is the value of struggle within the fandom beginning to lose its relevance? Or is BTS attempting to redefine their relationship with fans, moving away from old hierarchies toward a form of closeness that is more fluid and unpredictable? What makes the situation even more complex is the absence of the one thing that usually brings reassurance: explanation. BTS and management have chosen to stick to a brief, technical official narrative. There has been no attempt to quell suspicion, no clarification of the reasons behind the loosening of rules. In this vacuum, conspiracy theories continue to grow, some wild, others uncomfortably plausible. And amid all of this, Jungkook remains silent, seemingly becoming a canvas onto which fans project their hopes and fears. Is this silence part of a strategy? Or is it simply a consequence of a phenomenon whose scale now exceeds any individual, even Jungkook himself? No one truly knows. But one thing is clear: the ARIRANG soundcheck lottery has changed how many people view BTS concerts. They are no longer just about music and performance, but about access, symbolic power, and who is entitled to stand closest to the center of attention. When the lights at Tokyo Dome finally come on and Jungkook stands on stage for the soundcheck, the world will be watching, not only those inside the stadium but millions of eyes on phone screens. And perhaps in that moment, the public will realize that what is being tested is not merely a lottery system, but the old boundaries between idol and fan. Is this the beginning of a new era for BTS? Or a risky experiment whose consequences are not yet fully understood? The answer may not come that day. But one thing is already certain. Since the announcement of the ARIRANG lottery, BTS concerts are no longer simply about having a ticket. And Jungkook once again stands right at the center of that change. For some ARMY, this idea feels thrilling. For others, it is unsettling. Because when the boundary between those who are chosen and those who struggle grows increasingly blurred, the fandom is forced to confront an uncomfortable question: is closeness to an idol now determined purely by luck? And perhaps that is precisely the core of the ARIRANG lottery. Not merely a reward, not only an album promotion, but a subtle signal that old rules are being rewritten slowly, almost silently, with Jungkook standing at the front line.